Hi, I'm Coach Spiros. If you're considering working with a personal trainer, you're probably wondering what to expect from your initial fitness assessment. In this short video, I walk you through the process and show you how I assess key areas such as strength, mobility, balance, endurance, and flexibility. This helps me understand your current fitness level and design a workout that is specific to your fitness goals and needs.
Why the assessment matters. Before beginning any program, I perform a comprehensive fitness assessment to evaluate your current fitness level and determine the best approach for you. This assessment is suitable for all fitness levels and consists of 3 key parts. The first part is the health history and physical activity readiness screening. This is a quick review of your health history, past injuries, health concerns, exercise history, and a good time to set your fitness goals. The second part is a physiological assessment. This involves measuring height and weight, assessing body composition, and taking body measurements that you're comfortable with to create a baseline for tracking progress, especially if weight loss is a goal. The third part is the fitness assessment. In this part of the assessment, I use various tests to evaluate key areas like posture, mobility, strength, endurance, balance, and flexibility. This helps me evaluate your current fitness level and identify any areas that may need improvement.
In this video, I'll walk you through the fitness assessment, which is a series of tests designed to evaluate your fitness level and create a baseline for your training. So let's dive in.
The first test in this series is the overhead squat test, which evaluates posture, mobility, and muscle imbalances. To identify weak or tight muscles, I observe movement in the arms, hips, lower back, knees, and ankles from 3 different views: anterior, lateral, and posterior. Based on the results of the assessment, I apply corrective exercises to improve movement patterns and address compensations. Moving on to upper body strength assessment, I use push and pull movements to evaluate upper body strength. Starting with a push assessment, I perform a push-up test. This test measures muscular endurance in the chest, shoulders, and triceps. Clients can perform either full push-ups or modified knee push-ups depending on their ability. I then compare the results to an age and gender-specific push-up chart. This test is especially useful for beginners and older adults. With advanced clients, I use a chest press machine or a bench press to assess maximum strength using the 1 repetition maximum test, which determines the heaviest weight they can lift for a single repetition. After a warm-up, I gradually increase the weight until the client can no longer perform more than 3 to 5 reps with good form. I then use the 1RM chart to estimate their 1 rep maximum, and based on this, I set their starting weight around 65% of their 1RM to design a workout plan.
So whether I'm using the 1RM test or the push-up test to evaluate upper body strength depends entirely on the client's fitness level. The difference is that the 1RM test evaluates maximum strength, while the push-up test evaluates muscular endurance. However, beyond measuring strength, I'm also evaluating movement patterns and compensations, which is a key part of the assessment.
Next, we're moving on to upper body vertical and horizontal pull assessment. During the row and lat pull down assessments, I look for compensations such as shoulder shrugging or excessive lower back arching. To assess maximum strength, I use the 1 repetition maximum test or a sub-maximal test, which is based on a 10 repetition max, depending on the client's fitness level. Again, I set the weight at around 65% of the 1RM to design a strength training program. Over time, I apply progressive overload, gradually increasing intensity to promote steady progress. Alternatively, I may use a structured progression model like the OPT model developed by NASM to ensure continuous improvement. For lower body strength assessment, I use a couple of different squat and hip hinge tests to help me assess leg strength endurance and postural control of the quads, hamstrings, and glutes. Starting with the body squat, I'm looking for the number of repetitions performed in a minute and compare the results to a gender and age-specific chart. The body squat test assesses lower body strength endurance and is a more appropriate test for beginners or older adult client. And here's the chart. To assess lower body quad strength, I would have the client perform dumbbell or barbell squats or even deadlifts, depending of course on the client's fitness and comfort level. To assess lower body maximum strength, I use the 1RM test. Similar to the upper body strength assessment, I'll have the client perform a number of sets with increasing weight until they can no longer perform more than 3 to 5 repetitions with good form. I then estimate their 1RM using the 1RM chart and set their starting weight around 65% of their 1RM. The 1RM test is more accurate, but it carries higher risk. With less fit clients, I prefer using the Epley formula, which is a safer alternative. Next, I assess the hip hinge movement to evaluate glute and hamstring activation while ensuring proper movement mechanics. First, I check movement quality using a dowel or light dumbbells. I look for proper initiation, ensuring the client hinges at the hips, moves the hips back, maintains a neutral spine, and keeps a slight knee bend without squatting. Because the hip hinge movement stresses the spine, testing a true 1RM is high risk, especially for beginners. To assess glute and hamstring maximum strength, I use a Submax test or the Epley formula instead. Flexibility tests evaluate range of motion in joints and muscles to assess mobility and detect movement restrictions. To assess upper body flexibility, I use the Epley Scratch test, which assesses shoulder mobility. To assess lower body flexibility, I use the Sit and Reach test, which measures hamstring and lower back flexibility, while I measure how close you can come to your feet on both sides. Proper form is essential, so hinge from the hips and avoid rounding the back. Core stability is important for posture, balance, and injury prevention. To evaluate core strength and stability, I use the isometric plank test. A strong core should sustain at least 60 seconds without sagging or excessive strain. Balance allows you to maintain stability whether you're standing, walking, exercising, or playing sports. I use the single leg stance test to evaluate lower body control and proprioception. The client stands on one leg for 30 seconds, then switches sides. To assess cardiovascular endurance, I use the 3-minute step-up test. This is a simple and effective way to assess cardiovascular endurance by measuring how quickly the heart recovers after exercise. The results are compared to standardized charts based on age and gender. After assessing a client, I design a cardiovascular training program specific to their goals and needs. I start by estimating the client's maximum heart rate using the Tanaka formula, which is known for its accuracy. And here's the formula. The next step is to develop a progressive training program using stage training. This is a 5-stage system based on 4 intensity zones. Stage 5 is for athletes and rarely used. To measure intensity, I use the rate of perceived exertion scale, which is ideal for beginners and older adults. I also use heart rate monitoring with advanced clients, typically targeting 65 to 85 of maximum heart rate. Using a chest strap is the most accurate method, and it provides real-time results. By following these steps, I create safe and progressive cardio programs that improve heart health, endurance, and overall fitness for clients of all levels.
Now that you've seen the assessment in action, you might be wondering, why does this matter? Well, think of your fitness journey like using a GPS. You can't get to your destination without first knowing your starting point. And that's exactly what the assessment does. It determines where you are right now. Once you know your starting point, then it becomes easier to map out a path to your goal. As your trainer, my job is to lead you from point A, your current health and fitness level, to point B, your ultimate fitness goal. The assessment is the first step in this process. It helps me gather the necessary information to evaluate your fitness level, set clear goals, and create a personalized training plan. Next, I will teach you proper exercise technique and periodically reassess you to ensure steady progress. Ready to get started? Click the link below and book your free consultation today.